Before you do anything else, stop scrolling right now. If you want to understand how one of the most powerful figures in modern pop culture may have just stepped into a situation he can never fully escape, you need to stay locked in until the very last word. And while you're here, make sure you're ready to jump into the conversation later, because what you think about this matters. This story is unfolding in real time, and your voice is part of the hype that keeps it alive. Now take a breath, because what you're about to hear is not gossip in the casual sense. This is the kind of story that quietly reshapes careers, legacies, and public perception forever, even before the full truth ever sees daylight. For years, Drake has existed in a rare space where controversy seems to fuel him instead of destroy him. Every feud becomes content, every headline becomes momentum, and every scandal somehow turns into another chapter of his mythology. He has mastered the art of surviving storms that would have completely wiped out other artists. But this time, something feels different, and people who usually stay calm around chaos are suddenly uneasy. The reason is simple and terrifying. This is not a trend cycle. This is not a viral moment. This is not something that fades when the internet finds a new obsession. This is federal. And when federal energy enters the picture, the rules change in ways most celebrities are never prepared for. What makes this situation so unsettling is not just the existence of a lawsuit, but the silence surrounding it. No flashy press tour. No clever social media distractions. No immediate spin. Just a low, heavy presence hovering over everything Drake touches. Fans can feel it. Industry insiders can feel it. Even casual observers sense that something serious is happening behind closed doors. And when a story goes quiet instead of loud, that is often when the real damage begins. The public has been trained to think that money solves everything, that fame bends reality, that the right legal team can make almost any problem disappear. But federal cases do not play by those rules. They move slowly, methodically, and without concern for reputation. They are built on patience, pressure, and paper trails, the kind that do not care how many awards are on your shelf or how many records you've broken. And this is where the fear starts to creep in. Because even if nothing explodes today or tomorrow, the weight of what might come later is already reshaping the narrative around Drake. Suddenly, old moments feel different. Past choices feel heavier. Relationships that once seemed harmless are being re-examined with colder eyes. This is how legacies begin to crack, not with a single dramatic collapse, but with a slow erosion of trust and certainty. And the scariest part is that no one watching from the outside truly knows how deep this goes yet. That uncertainty is the hook. That tension is what keeps people watching, talking, and speculating. Because once a story like this starts, it does not stop at headlines. It seeps into everything. And we are only at the beginning. What makes this situation even more unsettling is how perfectly it targets the one thing Drake has always relied on: control of the narrative. For most of his career, Drake has been the storyteller. He decides when to reveal vulnerability, when to lean into power, when to joke, and when to disappear. That control has been his shield. But federal pressure does not negotiate with branding. It does not respond to carefully crafted personas. It operates in a world where facts matter more than image, and silence can be interpreted in ways no publicist can fully manage. People close to the industry are whispering that this case has the potential to pull threads that were never meant to be touched. And once a single thread is pulled, it rarely stops there. That is how things unravel. Not all at once, but piece by piece, as questions lead to more questions, and curiosity turns into scrutiny. Even if Drake never steps foot in a courtroom, the process itself can be punishing. Depositions, document requests, private communications suddenly examined under a microscope. Individuals who once benefited from loyalty may begin to reconsider where they stand when pressure mounts. This is the uncomfortable truth no one likes to say out loud. Federal situations test relationships. They test silence. They test how much people are willing to protect someone when protecting them comes at a cost. And while fans may still stream the music and defend him online, the machinery behind the scenes operates on an entirely different moral code, one that does not care about nostalgia or cultural impact. What also makes this moment dangerous is timing. Drake exists in an era where public memory is both short and brutally permanent. The internet forgets quickly, but it never truly lets go. Once a narrative is planted, it lives forever in screenshots, clips, and think pieces waiting to resurface at the worst possible moment. Album releases, collaborations, tours, appearances. Every milestone risks being overshadowed by the same looming question that no one can fully answer yet. And that question is enough to change how people listen, how brands align, and how history will eventually be written. This is how a lawsuit becomes more than a legal issue. It becomes a lens through which everything else is viewed. Every lyric feels loaded. Every absence feels suspicious. Every move feels calculated. Whether that perception is fair or not almost becomes irrelevant, because perception drives reaction, and reaction shapes legacy. This is why people are saying this could follow him forever, not because of a single outcome, but because of the permanent shift in how his story is told. There is no clean reset button for something like this. No viral distraction powerful enough to erase the underlying tension. And the longer it lingers, the more it defines the moment. This is not about guilt or innocence. It is about gravity. And gravity pulls everything downward eventually. Now here's where you come in. Because stories like this do not live in isolation. They live through conversation, reaction, and shared attention. If you've stayed with this until now, you are part of the moment where speculation turns into discourse. And this is exactly where the hype matters. When this video ends, do not just walk away with the thoughts spinning in your head. Drop them where others can see them. Scroll down and leave a comment with what you think this situation really means for Drake's future. Do you believe this changes everything? Or do you think he survives this like he has survived everything else? To fuel the hype, write a short comment stating whether you think this is the beginning of a long shadow or just another storm he'll outlast. Then engage with someone else's comment. Agree, disagree, challenge their perspective. That interaction is what pushes the conversation forward and keeps this story alive while the rest of the world waits for answers. And if you want to really amplify the energy, leave a second comment reacting to the comment above yours. That's how discussions grow. And that's how narratives take shape before official outcomes ever arrive. Because make no mistake, this story is far from over. What we are witnessing is not an ending, but a shift. A moment where certainty dissolves and questions take over. Drake may continue to release music, make appearances, and dominate charts. But this underlying tension will remain until time, and the system, decides otherwise. And history has shown that when federal pressure enters the room, it never leaves quietly. So stay alert, stay curious, stay engaged. This is one of those moments people will look back on and say they remember exactly when it started to feel different. And now you're part of that memory. Make sure your voice is part of the record.